What is up, people? How are we doing? Oh, hello. Let me get that off the back. Wallop. What's up, gang? How we doing? I'm feeling like very mellow today, I feel like. I don't know. I'm sure I'll get into the swing of things once I've started yapping for the next couple of hours. But yeah, my energy's low today, which is weird because I actually slept last night. So don't know what's going on with that. But happy Friday, gang. Today, we are going to do a most fun DPS tier list, which is going to go on YouTube. And I think I might just send it all in one video. I'm not too sure. I really don't want to be that tier list guy, but I mean, they work, don't they? They do work. We've already had a clothing comment. Let's go. Do I have a lot of clothes? I don't know. I don't have a lot of shoes. That's something that I've realized. I've got like one pair of shoes that I'll be seen dead in. The others I wouldn't be seen dead in, so probably should sort that out. But yeah, I'll leave that for a later time. I'll leave that for when WoW's popping, let's say. All right. Who have we got? What's up, people? We got William first from Will. W Will. Love Life Seb. Hello, guys. How are we doing, guys? Relly Zoiatics. What's up? What's up? What's up? Shadow, good to see ya. Is he out taking a shite for 45 minutes again? What do you mean? How's the mic, by the way? Is it clipping or anything like that? I did reduce it earlier when I was recording the dungeon guides. So I did Cinderbrew and Rookery today. So I've got Priory and what's the other dungeon? I feel like I can taste blood in my mouth. Am I dying? Shit. What's the other dungeon? Dark Flame Cleft. So I've got those two left to record. And then I need to piece them all together in a dungeon guide format. Ready for you guys for next week. So that you guys can smash the new season. It'll be covering all of the mechanics. So fear not. I've got you covered. Alright? Who else we got? We got Iena. Sword. Good to see you, my friend. Love that you're on the gym grind. Let's go, baby. Like I said in the Discord, that's the hardest step that you've just faced. Getting into the gym, it's a scary place. It's not a scary place once you realize, once you've been a few times, but it's definitely a daunting experience going to the gym for the first time. So well done to you, my friend, and just stay consistent. Consistency is key. You don't have to go in and absolutely smash every single session. Just turn up. And over time, you will get the results that you want to see, my friend. What's up, Dark Sauce? It is a lot of clothes, isn't it? Rich people shit. Imagine having multiple shoes. Well, I've got one nice pair of shoes. I've got one pair of trainers that I like training and running if I ever do go on runs. I've got one old nice pair of shoes, but they're so old that the bottom is completely worn. So it feels like I'm ice skating when I wear those. And then I've got a good old pair of trusty Crocs. So yeah. It's a bit low. See, this is a problem, isn't it? I can't please you all. The mic should be fine. It should be fine. What's up, Slayer? You could do a tier list of all the streamers' tier lists. Well, yeah, but I'd have to go. I'd be the only one in S tier, wouldn't I? Need me some guides. Let's go. Ziz, please. Is that Ziz, please? I don't know what emote that is. It's definitely Ziz. Ziz base. There we go. Did you know that the extra action button is gone in Rookery? Yes, I didn't even write about it in the first place, mate. Sorry, buddy. I have a lot of shit to do at the moment. So apologies if I can't answer all the messages. Ty, what's up? Did you note that? Yes, I did, Omega. Thank you for telling me, mate. Tomsillian, hello, hello. Did you mention the lost tech for the top mini bosses? No, I'm not going to mention that in the guides. I'm going to do... Oh, you fucking legend, Relly. Lost tech Relly did in top. Was that yesterday? 20th of the 2nd. There we go. I completely forgot about that. I was thinking about it this morning, but I thought there was other tech that I wrote about instead, but I can't remember what it was. Yes, Schmitty, I did. Thank you, mate. Thanks for the praise and kind words. I'm going myself in about 40 minutes again. Let's go, Sword. Keeping at it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Go for an intake with a personal coach I've enlisted. Yeah, nice, man. That will definitely help you settle into the lifestyle a lot quicker. You'll learn a lot quicker. It'll just lessen any growing pains of getting into the gym, and also just make you feel more comfortable in there, which is obviously very, very ideal. Not to glaze too much, but I started working out again, and listening to people talk about the gym in this stream keeps me motivated. Let's go, baby. That's the shit that I love to hear. Like the fact that we can have an impact and get people not necessarily training in the gym, but just get people more active and taking care of their health and just moving, or even if it's like improving your diet or whatever. That is unreal. Like, honestly, that warms my heart. Like, it's some of my favorite things to see from like this community that we built. Like, I love it when you guys are like yapping to each other in the Discord and like taking an interest in what each other are up to. And yeah, most of all, when we can get new people starting to train and take care of their health and work out and change lives for the better. That sounded like I mean, yeah, anyway, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. What ranged should I play for 10 keys? You can play anything you want, Dark Season. Play something you find fun. Anything can clear 10s. Posture check, thank you, Varan. Needed that. What's up, Trenix? You did miss the subtlety stream yesterday. Did you watch the VOD? Yeah, but I couldn't find where I noted it. If you say anything but Ret Pally, you're wrong. What's that for? Most fun DPS? I mean, I think you might be on something. Main for season 2, probably Warlock. Probably Warlock, but I'm not sure. Last boss in Rookery bugged for me. It just stood there. At least we don't have 2 weeks until the season goes live, right? Top left. Hello, Decaf Boldy. I'm not bold, and I'm not drinking decaf either. I want to start drinking normal coffee again. I'm gonna dabble with a coffee tomorrow, I think. So yeah. Have any of you ever had a matcha? What am I getting myself in for here? I don't like. Yeah, I've seen people drinking matchas, but I don't really know what they are. They just look green, and like, aren't they made from like green tea or some shit? Are they strong? Am I gonna be climbing the walls after? I don't fucking know. Baited interlogging retail. Wait, what? Fire Mage because it's the bottom. No, a Fire Mage will be up there, but it's nothing to do with its power. No way. Have I played Windwalker? Yeah, I played every spec on the PTR. Every DPS spec except for Org and Dev, because no one cares. Yeah. Oh, you're chatting to Will. I see. What's up, Zav? Ryan, good to see you, my friend. I did watch the VOD. The light bulb moment when you had on Shadow Strike Cleave was hilarious, yeah. I sort of knew that Nimble Flurry pumped, but I didn't really understand what it was. And Dan was telling me to, I think I missed Dan today. I remember seeing him say hello, but I don't think I said hello back. Unluck. Yeah, Dan was telling me about it, and he was like, Abyss in like up to 5 or 7 targets. I can't remember what. But it didn't really click. Like, it didn't click because I didn't understand why I was doing that. And then once I started like shadow striking and abyssing, and yeah, then it started to feel real nice. Even for someone like me who's okay, all the encouragement and talk from people keeps it actively on my mind, and it's a healthier environment. Yeah, I love it. I fucking love it. Like, even like you're having a day where you wake up and it's like, oh, I can't really be asked to go to the gym today, and then you see like Ken Bling smashing his workout and posting it in there, or like whoever it is on the day. Who is Ken in chat, by the way? Because I feel like he is carrying the Gym Gains channel, and I fucking love it. I feel like I need to take my jumper off. I feel like I'm getting warm already. Yeah, it's very motivating. Like on those days where you don't have motivation and you just need to do it out of discipline, but you have a bit of external motivation from seeing the Gym Gains channel and seeing people do it and smash it themselves, gets you in the gym, you know? It's green and strong. Match is fine, but bitter. So if you like sweet stuff, you probably won't like it straight. Yeah, apparently there's like a white chocolate matcha or some, I don't know. But I think I'm going to be exposed to it tomorrow. Happy Friday, Middle. Good to see you. Best for All TV hasn't been bold since he got that bull hair transplant into a bull hair. What do you mean bull hair transplant? Do you mean like bulls? As in like dick and bulls? Because you spelt it like the animal. Yeah, maybe I just got animal. Yeah. Any updates on Sub and Asa? Yeah, I played a lot of Sub yesterday, Stuz, if you want to go check out the VOD from yesterday. I actually really enjoyed Sub. I wasn't an expert on it at all. I feel like I figured it out pretty quickly, but yeah, it didn't seem, right, okay. Let me start again. I think Sub is good. It's probably the best rogue spec, but when I played it, I didn't do that great on it as expected. And I think it is also like target count dependent or dungeon dependent, I guess. Also, unless you're taking coffee enema, then coffee won't make you super hyper. Taking coffee and what the hell are you yapping about? No, I feel caffeine these days. I never used to, but I do now. Coffee Discord needs to stop. Coffee tastes like shit. People only drink it because of caffeine addiction, and making your coffee your personality is dreary. Someone woke up on the right side of bed today. Let people enjoy what they want to enjoy, buddy. Was watching you yesterday, but I had to go as you tried Asa. I just went back to Sub, Varan. I hit the dummies on Asa and realized it feels exactly the same, so I sort of know how it works. Hey Vesp, any good tips for content creators looking to stream WoW? Stream WoW, but don't make streaming your whole thing. Your stream is not going to grow from you being live when you first start out as a content creator. You need to bring traffic in from elsewhere. Twitch is not good for discoverability for new creators. People are gonna have to scroll down hundreds of pages to find you. So make YouTube videos, make TikToks, link your Twitch, and like talk about your Twitch on those platforms. Stream on those platforms as well, multi-stream as well. Think of some unique content if you can. One of the ways that I first started was like trying to be like like the hunter guy, right? Because I feel like a good way for streamers to grow is get really good in WoW, is get really good at one specific spec or class, preferably spec, and then get super high Ryo on that spec. So you're like top 50, top 100 in the world, which sounds daunting, but it's actually not that bad. And then people will find you by going on Raider.io, because I feel like a lot of people, when they're learning a spec or want to know about a spec, will go to Raider.io, look for the live streamers, and then so on and so forth. Find you that way. But my biggest piece of advice is don't just stream and feel like you're going to grow from streaming. That's not how it works. I'm still not at the point now where like my stream still at this point doesn't grow from me being live as much as it does from like other sources. Once you start getting to maybe like the 300-400 viewer concurrent live viewer mark, that's when I feel like your stream really starts to grow by you just being live. Cookie with the follow into the prime. Let's go, baby. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. He's saying it's Turbo Dead. What's Turbo Dead? Oh, wait, Sub? I don't know. What's up, Deba? There wasn't an Ola today. Yeah, Trent, Feral was a lot of fun. Feral is a lot of fun. I'll play Rogue, but already have gear for Sub and Asa, so we'll see what it feels better. The new raid was easier as Sub with Trickster. I really enjoyed playing Sub, and I think it probably is the best Rogue spec, but I don't really have much to go off from that statement, so yeah. Getting good at the game is good advice, but what did you do starting out? Pretty much exactly what I just said. How I grew is I started streaming, realized quickly that I kind of knew anyway that you're not going to grow your stream at the start from being live. So I would stream for a few hours, and then just make that stream into like videos of full length keys. When I started at a really good time with Dragonflight beta, when everything was popping, because my first videos were getting like 10k views plus. So yeah, I would just upload full-length keys showing off the different specs and classes for people that wanted to see for the new expansion, so that they could see what they wanted to main. Then I made tier lists. Tier lists are a great way to grow and get your name out there. although it does come with the territory of being like a sellout, I guess, for lack of a better word. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. Put effort into your thumbnails as well if you're making YouTube videos, and you need to clickbait. The game's the game. I don't want to clickbait. You have to clickbait. If I started uploading the YouTube videos as Havoc, Demon Hunter, Mythic Plus, Fortified Tyrannical, Bursting, Volcanic, POV, no one's gonna fucking watch. So you type, or when I'm doing the live commentary, when I'm in the key and I'm going like, oh my god, Havoc's turbo fun, there's your title. Havoc is turbo fun in The War Within or in patch 11.1, and you can do it that way. Wait, that went over my head, Schmitty. Oh, I just misunderstood the question. No, I get it. I get the joke now that I've reread it, but I thought you meant me giving the advice that getting good at the game is good advice. But what did I do? What else did I do starting out? Ha ha ha. Great banter. What should I play with Mythic Plus that has good damage and good utility, not mage? Org? Enhancement Shaman? Ret Pala? Ret Pala? Yeah, I guess Ret Pala. This is my full-time thing, M2K. It is indeed. I worry that WoW content is going to be all classic stuff now instead of... Nah, it goes through phases. Problem with classic is like there's nothing new, right? So eventually the hype dies out. Like it will probably come back around again at some point, but retail is the one that's always evolving. Like I've debated jumping ship to classic like at the start of my near the start of my streaming career, but I just think there's only so many times you can play the same old game over and over, right? But like that being said, I do enjoy classic as well. Now I know what to title my 14 Rookery. There you go, Iona. There you go. Ret Pala Fox in 10.1. 10.1, yeah. That's what I did on one of my videos, because I copied a title from, like, Season 2 of Dragonflight, I feel like. And I just didn't notice the numbers. Right, I think I'm going to take off my jumper before I get all hot and sweaty, when I get all excited and talking about the specs in Season 2 of The War Within, baby. So give me a sec, chat. And then we'll crack on, shall we? We've got a lot to get through. Again, I've got the nervous vibes. But that's just, I mean, I think I only get nervous about these things because I want to do the best job I can at going through all of the specs, and there's a fucking lot of specs. So yeah, that is the issue. And I'm not super confident on all of them, but I know mostly what I'm talking about. Keep this spreadsheet. The focusitism kicked in and I went ham. My god. Polgar's in the lair, dude. Wait, so you've only got one dungeon left. Nice one. Good shit. I'm actually kind of jealous that you got to do that, because I feel like there's something therapeutic about doing that. I don't know why. I don't do coaching, Cookie. It's something that I've thought about, but I don't know which format I would do it or what people would want me to do it in, and yeah, I've never coached. I don't know if I would never say never, but yeah. The muscles are out. Things are serious. Wallet. Oh, there you go, Red. You just got a free one. Little bicep flex for you. Little bicep flex while I'm sorting out the head. with life coaching, do the shit that scares you. Oh, life coaching. My bad. Sorry, I got a bit excited. Thank you for the hydrate, Big Max. Big Max? Big Mac? Right, so if I do this, we should be good, right? Okay, so let's get into it then. We're going to rank all of the DPS in patch 11.1 based on how fun they are. Melee and ranged included this time. So, let me find my notes here. Check's notes. The only problem with this is, I'm going to be transparent with you, chat, but YouTube doesn't need to know this, okay? I can't remember, like, I've got notes on each tier set, because I want to start... I want to start with my ranking of like how fun the tier set is. That's where I want to start, and then we'll talk about the rest of the class, how the gameplay feels, rotation, etc., etc. But I just don't know all the tier sets off the top of my head, you know? Chill tier down at the bottom. Red, we'll have our own little conversations about what's chill, okay? Ret and Windwalker at the top, everything else 2 tiers down. You crazy boy. So, with arms, the tier set is actually pretty fun because you do get a stacking haste buff that sometimes, I didn't actually know what this was when I was playing it, but sometimes it actually feels like you get like a mini PI. And I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't even have a priest in my group. So, tier set is a W for the arms warrior, but I do think the spec needs a rework all in all, I think. The like core gameplay is quite fun. I do enjoy pressing cleave, though I don't enjoy it being all of your damage. But the big problem with arms comes from its cooldown alignment. Nothing seems to line up with each other. Obviously, with more experience, I would know when to wait with certain buffs or certain cooldowns for other cooldowns to pair them up. But I feel like Blizzard could easily just align these cooldowns easier or better. And stuff like as simple as like making Avatar get affected by anger management would be a huge dub, because you feel like an absolute Titan Colossus arms warrior when you're in Avatar. I love it. But you only get it every so often, and I just feel like this spec would be infinitely more fun if you got into Avatar more frequently, and that might make the pairing of cooldowns more smooth as well. Da, 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 da. The build that I played with, I didn't use Dreadnought, and I did miss that because in AoE it felt like I was pressing a lot of single target abilities, which didn't feel so great. But I mean, that's just a case of builds, right? Maybe Dreadnought will end up as the meta build, I'm not sure. And the single target is a little bit stale. It's definitely more fun once you get into the execute range and you start going execute, Mortal Strike and doing that kind of loop right there. But apart from that, it's not a super enjoyable single target rotation. That being said, though, the audio feedback for a warrior, I feel like Blizzard have smashed the audio feedback for ARM specifically. Like every swing feels meaty. A big old meaty swing. And then in terms of hero talents, I haven't tested any Slayer across the whole PTR, but Colossus feels like Demolish feels amazing to press unless the mobs jump out of melee from you or you end up standing in something and dying. And then it feels like the worst button press in the world and you want to re-roll. Also, not super sold on the new Wallbreaker visual. It feels more paladin-y than warrior-y, I would say, but that's just a little nitpick. So for the warrior, the arms warrior, I'm going to be placing this one in the top of B for now, okay? Hey, Candy, good to see you. How are we doing? Sent you tier lists on Discord if you want a refresher for... Oh, tier sets. Oh, you legend. Thank you very much. Okay, wait. Let me cook real quick, chat. Wait, let me do this. Sound like I'm doing a rotation right now. Oh, you bloody legend. Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's do that all the way down there. Right, where are they here? Okay, there we go. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah, Warriors at the bottom, isn't it? Oh my god, Candy. For God's sake, Candy. I've missed you. Nothing to do with what just happened. Holy shit, Candy, with the Big 10 gifted. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much, Candy. You're a bloody legend. Wow. Wow, wow, wee wow. Candy just doubled the sub goal for today by herself. Big W. Okay, how is this going to work? Schmitzy with the prime as well. Thank you very much, brother. Let's go. Okay, right. That should be okay now. Thank you so much, Candy. You're a bloody legend. Appreciate you. Jenny, what's up? Who else we got? Did I miss anyone turn up just then? Thought my chat bug, but realized it's Warrior, so nobody cares. Oh, what? When nobody was typing? Yeah, true. Okay, let's move on to Fury then. So I do think Fury is the more fun of the two Warrior specs, in my opinion at least. The tier set, however, is pretty snoozer. It's basically just extra damage. You do get extra Bloodthirst damage out of it, which I guess makes that button press feel slightly more impactful, but honestly, you don't really notice it. Fury is still as bursty and fast and fun-paced as ever. Nothing has changed in that department. You are constantly building and dumping rage. What just happened? Wozy with a tier 1 as well. Thank you very much, my friend. I feel like I'm sat super far down. Thank you for all the subs, gang. Holy moly. What's up, Tide Dad? Yeah, I mean, I've always streamed at this time, my friend, but I'm now streaming every day during the week instead of on the weekends. What's up, Johnny? I feel like Johnny's like profile picture is so iconic. Like I will never forget Johnny now because of the combination, you know? So this tier list is purely based on fun. There's nothing to do with numbers. Numbers might play a slight part into it, but this is purely based on like what gameplay is the most fun, okay? I don't want to be the tier list guy, and I was going to do this video separately, like off of stream, but I'm super strapped for time at the moment, so I think I just need to get it done on stream, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and yeah, just upload this. But like on YouTube, I will try and disguise this tier list as more of like a just sit down, talk about all the specs video, you know? Crux with the prime, thank you very much, my friend. Love that. And Wong, thank you for the follow into the prime as well. Sorry that I don't have alerts on when I do like these tier list videos type stuff that's going on YouTube, but I turn them off just because it's quite distracting. But appreciate all the support, gang. Love you all. Get 2 birds stoned at once. There we go. He says doing multiple tier lists. Hey, the game's the game. The game is the game. Also, with constantly building and dumping your rage with Rampage, I don't know what the proc is, but I was getting refunds off of my Rampage, so you can literally slam Rampages back to back, which feels amazing, especially if you're already pre-stacked with Whirlwind stacks. So you just like constantly, like the visual feedback you get from that from back-to-back Rampaging is second to none. It's unreal. Ignoring execute does feel weird on Fury. Don't get me wrong, I do much prefer pressing the other buttons, but ignoring such a core like mechanic and fantasy of the Warrior on Fury definitely does feel weird. Speaking of visuals, Mountain Thane gives the Warrior some much needed poggers visuals. When you're pressing those Thunderblasts, holy shit, you feel like whatever the hell a Mountain Thane is. I don't even know what it is, but a big electric dude just slamming down on the world is sick. And I mean, these notes kind of feel a bit all over the place, but I can edit this up, you know? So don't tell anyone again, chat. This is our little secret. Wait, is that caught up? Yeah. Do you think you'd have more time if you weren't spending so much of it chasing tail? What's tail, bro? I was like, wait, does that mean I'm like I have a tail? I'm chasing myself? I don't know. Also, Bloodthirst hitting hard and constantly resetting. I don't know if it was some like feedback proc loop that is consistent, but I was able to press Bloodthirst twice. Also, by the way, when it was lit up equals big dopamine, and then press it a third time when it constantly resetted. So that was unbelievable when that happened. Really enjoyed that gameplay loop. And then you just dump that into a rampage at the end. Not a big fan of playing with Champion Spear. Kind of, again, very nitpicky, but I don't know why, but I really don't like that button. Maybe the area of effect feels too small for me. I'm not too sure, but definitely prefer playing with Thunderous Roar, which kind of also bridges the gap for Fury, because the one big downfall of Fury is being target capped to 5 targets. Like, in the year 2025, we're still talking about target caps of 5. Oh, what's going on there, Blizzard? I don't know what the hell's going on there. So that definitely feels bad in big pools, but sometimes you get away with it because you're doing so much damage anyway that you don't really notice it. But nonetheless, I do very much enjoy Fury, and I'm going to put Fury in the A tier. Big electric dude just slamming down on the world. Sounds like a Pink Floyd album that would come out after they ran out of ideas. It also sounds like it could be an Arctic Monkeys song. Ooh, that is a good point, Omega. I didn't even think of that for either of the warrior specs. The fact that they're not playing Bladestorm. Ravager does not hit the same as Bladestorm. I don't mind Ravager so much on Fury, but definitely on Arms Warrior. I want to be Bladestorming, man. Yeah, that definitely does knock a few points off of them. I'm still not going to move them outside of their tiers, but yeah, Bladestorm's just so iconic. Thanks for that, Omega. Warriors feels like it has too many buttons for how many you actually need to press. I feel like that's a hot take, Zidge. I know what you mean with like execute on Fury, 2 charges of Raging Blow, and then all the constant resets, but yeah. What song was that, Seb? And anger management not being used as criminal. I think I played anger management in both of the warrior builds. Wagger. Okay, so let's do this then. Let's move on to the rogue specs then. We have Asa Rogue, which is first up, which I haven't really played much on PTR because it's been bugged the whole time. Same with sub, but I did get some sub action in yesterday. But from what I've tested, Asa is just the same old. The tier set doesn't seem to change anything. It is just extra damage, which is very boring. Assassination is just not my cup of tea, but I can appreciate that, like, maybe that's just not for me and other people do enjoy it. I've just never been a fan of, like, the spinning of plates and maintaining debuffs, dots, and maintaining buffs on yourself, right? So that is just not for me. So in turn, I am going to place it slightly lower on the tier list. But that being said, if you do execute the spinning of plates well, it does feel very rewarding. And what feels even more rewarding, this is kind of tied into power a little bit, but the fact that you know that you are deleting a priority target with all of these envenoms while you're just passively cleaving all of your damage onto everything else, that's a great feeling. Also, something that I do like about Asa Rogue is Serrated Bone Spike. I love playing with this talent. I hope that it is always meta. If I ever need to play Assassination Rogue, I'm hoping that that talent is the meta build, because it just makes your opener so much smoother, where you're able to like rupture back to back, get more ruptures and garrotes out. Really enjoy that. But just because it allows you to get the ball rolling a lot quicker, I feel like, instead of having to like manually build up again. And then in terms of single target, very dull. I'm never a fan of having to wait for energy to regenerate. I don't like it on Feral. I don't like it on Asa. This gap is completely bridged in AoE because you've got more of your dots ticking, but in single target, it's just very slow. And it feels super methodical, which I guess, again, some people might enjoy, but it's just not for me. So I am going to put the Assassination Rogue in the C tier. I almost self-reported for the video. I almost was like, yeah, I've hit the dummies for a little bit, but I stopped myself from saying Okay. Sorry, chat. Just for the specs that I'm not super like clued up on, I am going to be reading, just brushing myself back up on the tier sets. I do have notes about the tier sets, but it's like tier set just does damage, and I want to know like if there's any interaction there. You know? What's up, Johnny? Serrated Bone Spike is part of this a standard talent build. Yeah, it was with the one that I was playing on the dummies, but there has been builds before that are that don't include Serrated Bone Spike, and I wasn't as happy. Yeah, good stuff, Khan. I mean, that's the thing, right? I don't want to take anything away from people that enjoy Asa. If you enjoy this kind of playstyle with Assassination Rogue, I feel like Assassination Rogue does that gameplay style very, very well. It's just not personally for me, and obviously this list is subjective. Moving over to the Subtlety Rogue. Yes, not... Okay, we'll go again. Moving over to the Subtlety Rogue then. I played this spec for like the first time yesterday. I feel like I picked it up pretty quickly. I was definitely a bot at the start, but Sub actually really surprised me. Now the tier set, again, it's just damage, very boring. But what I love about Sub is the dance windows. They are so fun and engaging, and also getting that constant cooldown reduction on your Shadow Dance windows, especially in AoE. Like, that gameplay loop of just getting back into those windows to do mega burst feels real nice. The only caveat to that, is that the right word? I don't know. But is outside of your dance windows, there's other specs, right, that feel like they do no damage outside of their cooldowns. But like this, no, that's actually true for the Sub Rogue, okay? Like outside of Combust on your Fire Mage, I feel like you can maybe still sometimes do damage. I feel like I'm healing mobs when I'm outside of my dance windows on the Sub Rogue. So that's one of the things that I don't really like for Sub. But I can get over that. The thing that I do think needs to change for Sub is how bloated the opener is specifically. Flagellation needs to leave. Get that shit gone. I don't think anybody cares about pressing that button, so I don't know why they're so intent in keeping it. I bypassed this button bloat by macroing some of my abilities together, like Symbols and Shadow Dance. I even had Shadow Blades in there at one point, but I realized that was a bad idea. So I think the removal of Flagellation would be a big W for Sub. And I think just with a bit of practice for me, I would get used to Symbols and Dance. I did by the end of the stream, I did kind of get to grips with when I was holding and when I was sending. And speaking of the outside of dance windows, it feels weird for Sub to be pressing Rupture, but it works. I don't know if I do like that it works as well. I kind of wish it was something else. I wish Rupture was like Asa's ability, but like, I mean, that's again being very nitpicky. I'm liking that word today. But it just gives you something to do in your downtime when you've got no dance. Just spreading all these ruptures about. They're applying to 2 targets through your rupturing shadows. I've completely made up the name of that talent. I feel like I might have somehow got it right though. So yeah, it just kind of fills that gap really nicely. And I don't know if there could be any other way to do that. I think that they might have smashed that, to be honest. Appreciate all the follows, gang. Holy moly. This is a fun tier list. Atomic. Big agree. Outside of dance, you do 0 damage, and I hate it. Yeah. The thing is like it does feel bad, but it's kind of the whole shtick with Sub, isn't it? To like have these mega burst windows, and then you kind of you take your foot off the gas, apply these ruptures in between. Then you do have some downtime of like feeling like you're hitting like a wet noodle. But that's why I think the rupture windows work so well. I was also playing with First Dance, and that actually felt really impactful. When you get into your first Shadow Dance of each pack, you can feel how much longer you're in your dance windows, so it doesn't feel as crammed to get all of your abilities in. So that feels real nice off the rip. And then you can finish with a big secret technique, which feels unreal to press. That button is so impactful. Like, that feels chunky when you press a secret technique and everything's lined up perfectly. So what I did is I played Trickster. I don't know if that's the meta talent build, but I actually enjoyed it once I figured out that you were more so shadow striking and eviscerating in a lot of these low cleave target counts. I was actually really enjoying that gameplay. And then using your black powder finisher on bigger AoE, right? But it means that you're getting a lot of prio damage while passively cleaving with your nimble flurry, which feels great. And while you're inside your dance windows, I thought Dance Macabre, I've always hated the idea of the Dance Macabre talent where you have to use your different abilities to buff up each ability. Like every different ability you use increases your damage. So you have to use all of these different abilities in your Shadow Dance window to then spend on your secret technique near the end. I actually really enjoyed that gameplay, and I kind of wish that you would press Shuriken Storm on single target to get that extra stack of Dance Macabre. It's not worth it apparently right now, but you get max combo points, or at least I was getting max combo points from every time I did press it in single target anyway, so it doesn't even feel bad to press, and then you're getting that extra damage onto your finishes, which I think would feel real nice. And yeah, I think that is pretty much it for sub. But like I said, it's really did surprise me. I've always stayed well clear. It's like one of the 2 specs in the game that I've always stayed super clear of. But I'm glad that I finally got my head around it. And I'm going to put it in the A tier, honestly. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's as fun as Fury, but I did really enjoy sub. God, I feel like that was all over the place. I'm going to have to do some editing on that one. You pop all CDs, go put the kettle on, file your taxes, and mow the grass. Maybe by then CDs will be back up. To be honest, it's still fun. What's up? I mean, you've got all those dance windows in between, right? Like, you always have these mini cooldowns when you go into these dance windows, and then you've got your big bursty cooldowns on your 2 minutes. I enjoy the rupture spreading, Scott. It feels like it just gives you something to do while you're waiting for everything else to come up. Yeah, Khan, that is correct. That is correct, my friend. With sub, you can press the same buttons. You're going to have to press the same buttons twice because there's not enough of them. But the idea is, like, you'd go into a dance window, you would Shuriken Storm, Black Powder, Shadow Strike, Secret Techniques, and that would give you a max stack Secret Technique, I think. And then you'd go back to a Shuriken Storm, Black Powder, or Shuriken Storm Eviscerate, or something like that. Nomi, this is for fun only. This is purely based on fun. There's a big clue in the title. To be fair, I can't even say anything about that because the amount of times that, like, I ask streamers questions and then it's just in the title, and it's like, yeah, I'm one of those guys right now. Yeah, I've been really enjoying Rogue recently. It's just Asa that lets it down for me. I wish I liked Asa. I think Asa is a well-designed spec. It's just not for me. Finally, for the rogues then, we have the Outlaw Rogue, which I find to be the most fun rogue. The tier set is super fun as well because you're basically just getting extra rolls out of your Roll the Bones, extra buffs, let's say. So you're hitting those 5 buffs a lot more frequently. You're playing Keep It Rolling because of the synergy with that. So you are just, it almost feels like you're constantly buffed with 5 buffs when playing Outlaw at the moment. It's ridiculous. Super fun. So the big change with Outlaw, I can't remember when it happened, but now Between the Eyes gets reset when you go into your stealth window. So that means you can use Between the Eyes more frivolously. We're going to go with that word. But yeah, this also in turn makes Outlaw a lot more forgiving, which I think was kind of a necessary change. Outlaw before, it still is punishing, but Outlaw before was super punishing. If you got your Between the Eyes crack shot windows wrong, then you're going to be doing 0 DPS, and it's still very easy to get punished with 0 DPS on Outlaw. But yeah, this spec is just super duper fast paced. It never stops. When I play the spec, I feel like I am using 100% of my CPU usage in my bloody skull. So you're never stopping. It never slows down. The only thing that I will say about that is the fact that like you're just always going on outlaw, so there's never this like high point. It's kind of like always high, but you never have this like big dopamine spike. You get unreal dopamine from your ace up your sleeve procs, especially with that audio feedback. Like you literally feel like you hit the jackpot when you're getting those refunds from your between the eyes finishers and just spamming them off back to back. That is unreal. But what else we got here? But yeah, I guess that is. I guess what we're trying to say here. I guess the reason that it kind of feels so flatline is because all of your cooldowns are always being reduced in cooldown because of your Restless Blades and your that treasure buff. It's not treasure, you know what I mean, the clock looking one. So I guess that's why it is. So that's me being super picky right there. And the only other thing that I don't enjoy about Outlaw, if I'm to be super duper picky, is the fact that Blade Flurry is all of your damage on your damage breakdown. But that is just, I shouldn't have even said that, but it's just something that I do dislike about the spec. I'd rather see like a combo of different abilities that are breaking down my overall damage, right? But that's just not how the spec works. So shut up, Vesp. I'm putting Outlaw at the top of A tier. I do really enjoy the spec. Asset and single target kills the whole spec, 0 energy regen. Yeah, exactly. I hate waiting for energy. I need that dopamine now. I need that instant gratification right now. We'll forgive you then, Asketti. Are you going to rank the tanks? We'll go through the tanks and healers at the end together, okay? That's super duper picky, bro. What have I done here? There we go. Okay. Right. Where are my notes for the Survival Hunter? So, I'm not too sure how I feel about this spec. Let me see what... Let me remind myself of the tier set here. Tier set's pretty bland. You do get a buffed kill command, and that also does generate you 3 tip of the spear stacks, which I guess feels nice. It's not super impactful, but at least it is changing your gameplay somewhat. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about survival. What I do enjoy is so wait, no, that's not the tier set. I enjoy the tier. Did they change the tier set? Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. I remembered what the tier set was when I started to yap. So, Survival Hunter, really not sure how I feel about this spec. The tier set is actually super fun and has some real nice synergy with Pack Leader as well. So Pack Leader has just been reworked. Pack Leader is now what it should have always been. You're summoning loads of different beasts. It's just super fun and engaging. And it's even more engaging because your tier set basically allows you to get a giga buffed Raptor, Strike, or Mongoose Bite, which feels really great. But then when your boar charges from your Pack Leader, it also gives you a buff that allows you to cleave your Raptor Strike onto 4 additional targets, I think. So you're hitting 5 total targets with a 400% increased damage Raptor Strike, but that's not it. Because then, I think it's your boar as well from Pack Leader, gives you Mongoose Fury stacks, which I'm hoping also affects Raptor Strike. So you're getting an extra 75 or 100% damage increase on that as well. So when you press this button, you are literally hitting for like 50 million damage in like one global. It is crazy. So that feels super nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they changed that old tier set. Holy shit. I was reading it. I was like, what? But apart from that, the rest of the rotation, it just feels a bit muddled to me. Now, this will come with experience and me getting better at the spec, but it feels like there's so many buttons that you don't want to overcap on. You want to keep buffing in between every ability if you can with Tip of the Spear. So you've got to weave in your kill commands there. You want to keep your abilities like Butchery off of cooldown. You're getting these extra procs like your Raptor Strikes now from your tier set. So sometimes in the rotation, it feels super overwhelming. Like you don't know which button to press. And like you want to buff up these big hitting abilities with your tip of the spear from your kill command. But then it feels like you're trolling to leave your wildfire bomb or your explosive shot on cooldown. So just feels a bit jumbled up there. I don't really know how they can fix that. And I also think that survival hugely lacks a big window of dopamine. Coordinated Assault is maybe the most boring cooldown in the game. It doesn't feel impactful at all, even though it is a big damage amp. So the only redeeming qualities of Coordinated Assault is the Bombardier, but the old Bombardier was so much more fun at the end. But like, again, also it was completely counterintuitive because old Bombardier would give you like, let's say 4 explosive shots in a row at the end of your CA window, but then you're out of your cooldown. So you're missing that damage amp on it anyway. I don't know. I just feel like Coordinated Assault needs to be reworked in some way. I'm sure there's some fun interaction that they can make there. Like Relentless Primal Ferocity, every time you press kill command, it gives you 3 stacks of Tip of the Spear. That feels good. But then your CA is on a 2-minute cooldown. And I feel like that's always going to lose out to the 1-minute cooldown. Also, as a last point for survival, I'm not a fan of the bomb cone. Yes, it is unique, but sometimes you can't really help your positioning. So it just feels super bad if you're missing like half the mobs because your cone is not pointed in the right direction. Obviously, a little bit of a skill issue, but I just kind of feel like it's outdated. And I feel like the bomb should just explode on the mob and spread for big AoE damage. Yeah, exactly, Rinku, exactly. That's a great point, Sony. Also, your abilities all basically being tied to a leap to the mob is a recipe for disaster. Coordinated Assault should not have a leap tied into it. I don't know if that's like maybe a PvP thing. I'm not sure. Flanking Strike, fine. Harpoon, obviously fine. But the amount of times I have died from pressing Coordinated Assault and leaping straight into a boss's swirly is not fun. So I'm gonna put survival. I'm struggling with where to put this because I do feel like the underwhelming damage that it's doing at the moment is weighing into my opinion on this spec, and I don't really want power to have too much of an impact where I'm ranking them, but I think I am actually going to put this bottom of B, I think. Am I happy with that? I don't know. Thanks for all the follows, people. Anyone can help me out for what the letters... C's the most fun, D is the least fun, okay? Yeah, maybe I could have renamed them, but oh well. Thank you for the follow, Sony. S stands for survival. Found the survival, man. Asa is better. Found a site with every... Wait, what's this? But it's so ugly and AI generated. Link to it, pick your poison. Okay, wait, I'll do that in a sec. Actually, I'm going to put it in C. I do prefer survival to Asa. I think Asa is probably a better design spec than survival, but I don't enjoy the dot playstyle like I was saying earlier. But I just, yeah, there's just no high in your rotation when playing survival. And with all the mumbling up of priorities, yeah, I think I'm going to go with C for survival. S equals super fun. Super duper fun. I need to stop with the super dupers today. Holy fuck. What is this then? Oh my god. Okay, wait. When you... Okay, I don't mind this, but it's like... It doesn't include everything. But is it only including the important bits that I need to know? I don't know. I ain't too sure. Read the title, Mez. It's also 50% more tip of the spear damage. Yeah, I mean, that does make it feel more impactful, but you just don't play it, do you? Oh my god, I just got fucking pop out from that site. Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that shit. I mean, to be fair, I do know a lot of the tier sets anyway. You're all good, Mez. You're all good. You are all good, my friend. Has Havoc's tier set changed? Are we good on that? I don't even know where it is. Havoc's the same. Okay, sweet, sweet, sweet. Increasing damage, stacking up after. Okay. Let's move on to the Havoc Demon Hunter then. So tier set, pretty boring, pretty passive, just extra damage basically. There might be some interactions with crit in there, but I'm not enough of a Havoc main to know. Finally though, shit, scene. There we go. Fuck's sake. Let's move on to the Havoc Demon Hunter then. So tier set's pretty boring, pretty passive, not really much going on there. Might have some interactions with crits. But finally, they made the Dragonflight tier set into a talent. So now Blade Dance is throwing glaives that apply Soul Rend. Really big fan of this talent or tier set, and I'm glad that they finally made it a talent. I do enjoy that gameplay style. I don't know why, but I've always enjoyed bleeding up targets with throw glaive on Havoc. I remember the Legendary and Legion. I liked it. I don't know why, but I do. But more importantly, momentum gone. Get in the bin. See you later. Finally, it's not fully gone. There is still movement tied to your gameplay, but my god, is it so much better than before. So your big damage amps from your inertia and momentum are now tied to the hunt and vengeful retreat. So it's much less movement involved compared to before. It also affects. Wait, what? But basically, now what you can do is, dependent on your hero talents as well, and dependent on what talents you take, if you don't take Unbound Chaos, then you can just Vengeful Retreat and Fellblade straight back in, and you instantly have that damage amp, and you're straight back onto the mob. So there's minimal downtime there, which feels so much better than before. And if you are playing Unbound Chaos, you'll just Vengeful Retreat out and then dash in. Which feels even better with Aldrachi Reaver, because every time you press Vengeful Retreat, your Fellblade will reset if you're playing that talent. So you're just always lining those up together. Then that feeds really nicely into the Cycle of Hatred talent. Now you do have to ramp this up in stacks, and then every I-beam will be completely lined up with every Vengeful Retreat. So there's no decision making there. They just pair up super nicely. So you Vengeful Retreat out, Fellblade back in, or however you want to get back in. I-beam, Blade Dance, Chaos Strike, or vice versa. Real nice gameplay loop, especially when compared with before. But this is what Havoc has been missing all these years. That sounded super scripted, didn't it? But this is what Havoc has been missing for all these years. Havoc just doesn't need to be zip-zapping around the battlefield, like losing uptime on the mobs. It is plenty fun and plenty flashy by itself. Like, it's so bursty, it's a fast-paced rotation. I do think there could be some form of interaction with Chaos Strike or Annihilation, but maybe that's me being... Maybe I'm asking too much there. And the only other thing that I don't particularly like with Havoc is the fact that the hunt doesn't line up with every meta. I feel like those two should both just be on a 2-minute cooldown. It feels weird that your hunt comes back like 30 seconds before your meta, and I think you're just meant to send your hunt on cooldown. I don't know. Not a big fan of it. I'd rather they just paired up together so that you get that inertia window for the start of every demon or meta window. And that would pair really nicely with your Fellscarred hero talents as well to get that big burst in at the start. Definitely enjoying Havoc a lot more than before. I think they have made a lot of great changes and it's going in the right direction. I don't know if we're fully there yet, but I have been enjoying this spec. I just wish I could figure out how to do some damage on it. Havoc Demon Hunter, I'm going to put at the top of B. Running into a block of meetings because people don't understand Chill Fridays. God damn it, Candy. Heck those guys. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted again, Candy. It's good to see you. I've missed you. Take it easy. How it probably most fun melee DPS, what they done with my boy. What, you don't like the changes to Sketty, or? So this is based on fun, Morty. I've been enjoying Sub a lot. Sub really surprised me. Big fan of Sub at the moment. Have it probably most fun. Oh, love what they've done. Love what they've done with my boy. Can I not read? What else haven't I read properly? Oh, I've ignored you. Zorthus just plays Outlaw in D tier and said it's one of the worst Mythic Plus specs. This is based on fun. Fun, fun, fun. You know, that thing that we play the games for. It's kind of crazy. I know. Let's slow down here. Take our time. On to the kitty. We have the Feral Druid now. Tier set, again, another one of these tier sets that's pretty boring. Doesn't really change any gameplay at all. Arguably makes your Apex procs feel a bit more impactful because you are getting extra damage out of it in terms of bleeds. I also don't know, this note was from the start of PTR, but I don't know if Brutal Slash is now generating less combo points. I felt like before it would generate 2, but now it's only generating 1. Not necessarily a bad thing though, because it just gives you more room for rake spreading, which once you get comfortable with and once you get used to it, it feels very rewarding, especially because rake does quite considerable damage as well. However, going into the War Within, a lot of stuff changed with the Feral Druid, and now your energy regeneration, basically your resources, are a lot slower to build up. So your rip falls off too quickly, in my opinion, for how resource-starved Feral feels these days. But this is mainly due to the Circle of Life and Death talent, because you need to play this talent for extra DPS, but it means that your RIT is falling off quicker than before, or quicker than it normally would, sorry, which means you're kind of, you get to these points in your rotation where you're so starved of energy that all you can really do is Primal Wrath or RIT. You get these free bites in between, which feel great, don't get me wrong, especially when you're getting multiple free bites back to back, and you're also cleaving that damage, and you're smashing like 3 or 4 bites into a prio target and AoEing at the same time. That feels unreal. But I just feel like RIP could do with a like 2-second longer duration, maybe. I just feel like I want to get one more bite in between those reapplications of RIP or Primal Wrath, right? Not getting any more cooldown reduction on Berserk, it does make me sad, but now it also always lines up with Convoke, so you can always pair those two together, and honestly that feels kind of fine. Especially, actually, nah, we'll leave that. And the final thing that I'll say about Feral is I wish it had some more like meaty audio feedback. Now, this is completely contradictory, because being a cat is all about scratching and slashing things up, right? And the audio feedback does kind of nail that, but I miss like the old kind of vanilla sounds of Feral. I don't want it for every ability, but like your old mangle sounds. Maybe we could have that or something similar like that for Shred. And also the like old Savage Roar noises. I feel like they felt so much more Feral. Now you just kind of feel like a cat. Kind of like a pathetic, scratchy cat, you know? So, not a huge fan of the audio feedback, but still very much enjoying Feral at the moment. And although the energy problems are a big deal for me, I'm still going to place it in near the top of A tier. I am having a good time on Feral at the moment. What's up, Jesus? Explain to me how you play Fire and then Destro and then conclude Destro is fun. Fire, chain, critical strikes back to back, instant pyro, instant flame strike, win. Destro, apply dots, get your Inferno out, spam Rain of Fire, win. Destro is fun. The core druid talent changes for Feral for 11.1 help with extra combo points. Wait, what changed? Oh yeah, they did change up the class tree, didn't they? I mean, I've been playing a lot of Feral on PTR, so that is obviously active. Trust on the active. Next up, we have the Death Knight specs. We'll start with Frost DK. And the idea of this tier set, getting those free procs of Frost Scythes, is super sick. I've always loved the idea of Frost Scythe. I don't think it's ever been a viable build for Frost DK. So the fact that you're passively getting that is super sick. But I've just never really noticed it going off. So is it really that cool? I don't know. Maybe that's just Vesp awareness. Maybe I just haven't seen it myself. Maybe other people notice it, but I really haven't noticed it actually going off. I just see it doing big damage on the overall at the end. Still love playing Breath. Breath is a super rewarding window. There also, you can get some skill expression out of as well. So I would hope that that is still the meta build for the Frost DK. I have heard it might be the Obliteration build instead, which basically just means shorter cooldowns. But yeah, I would definitely miss playing with Breath of Sindragosa. I do definitely enjoy that talent. Frost DK still has problems with Death and Decay, and I feel like Frost DK is impacted more by these problems than Unholy. Unholy plays the file, so that it just makes it bigger, which makes it easier inherently. But I just feel like it does affect Frost DK more, and I can't really believe that this is still a thing that you place on the floor. Like, it makes perfect sense for a Death and Decay aura. Think of the visuals they could get on that as well. It makes perfect sense to have an aura just follow around the DK for 8 seconds or however long it lasts. And that way you don't have to feel completely inted by your tank's positioning or like mobs putting like a swirly on your Death and Decay or whatever it is. It does feel slightly better now that they've bridged the gap with the grace period after it, but I just feel like it's such a free win for them to make it an aura, like this big cloudy aura around you as you obliterate all the mobs around you. That'd be sick. And the only other thing that I don't enjoy for the Frost DK is pressing Frost Strike in AoE. I will never enjoy pressing this. I just want to be slamming down obliterates as much as I can in AoE once my Death and Decay is down, which I think you do for the most part, but you do get Killing Machine procs from pressing Frost Strike, so you do want to press Frost Strike and not over cap as well. But it's not it. I feel like they could maybe rework Frost Scythe so that it was a runic power spender instead, and then you could decide between a Frost Strike spender or a Frost Scythe spender in AoE or single target. I think that would be pretty sick. I don't know, but just never been a fan of pressing Frost Strike. It feels like such a non-button. Even in single target, it kind of feels like a non-button. Yeah, okay. Still getting those big, meaty scythes from your Deathbringer. Never going to get boring or old. And for Rider of the Apocalypse, I mean, the best part about that is the Death Charger, honestly. Getting that mobility on DK is unreal. Frost DK, we're going to put in the B tier just behind the Havoc Demon Hunter. Ooh, that might not have been a bad shout, Red. But I've kind of, like, I've committed to the melee into range now, right? Did you try Rider with no breath? No, Nates, but I can't imagine that I would prefer that to breath. Is it fun, though? You gave me some notes about Org, but, I mean, we could do it live as well, and I will also just say that I fucking hate Org. How do you recommend somebody without much experience on the PTR to test the class as talent changes coming? Arcane. I would just hit the dummies, my friend. Maybe watch some YouTube videos if there is any out there for 11.1 for your spec. But yeah, that would be my advice. Okay, has Unholy's changed? Don't think it has it? Bake Death and Decay into Remorseless Winter. I mean, honestly, not a bad shout. Not a bad shout at all. Was thinking it would be easier for order purposes. Yeah, it would be for like the chapters on YouTube. Yeah, for sure. Okay, moving on to Unholy DK then. Very boring tier set. It's literally just extra damage. But when I played this spec, I was very surprised. I kind of forgot how much I enjoyed this spec going into the War Within. I feel like I just have this default idea that I don't like Unholy, or I don't really care for it that much. But I was very pleasantly surprised when playing the spec. I had a lot of fun on it. It becomes infinitely more fun when you are doing mass AoE pulls. Let me not get it twisted. Because yeah, getting those Festering Scythe procs on mass AoE, your Festering Scythe, your 2 or 3 Scourge Strikes, you've got Festering Scythe back. Like, it's just this PogChamp loop of just getting these wounds out, blowing them all up, and then Festering Scythe again to get even more wounds out. And it's just this super nice cyclical playstyle where you're just exploding everything around you. Like, I feel like maybe you might even ignore Epidemic. I don't know. Maybe I think I might have been cooking with the stove off for that one because you get like DT extension. I don't know. But regardless, had a great time, especially in AoE. All your cooldowns line up super nicely with each other now. You have a 45-second go with your APOC. And what's the other thing? What's the other 45-second go? Oh, Dark Transformation, of course. And then you have your 1.5 minute go. So every other cooldown set, you've got your big go as well. So they all line up super nicely with each other. Don't really have to do much thinking there, which I think is a good thing for classes. And this is nothing new for the Unholy in the War Within, but it is so much less rampy than before, which feels amazing. You got your Dark Transformation applying diseases, so you don't even need to press that in your opener. You no longer have to press Unholy Blight either, because that is no longer a button. It's just passive. And you can just get into your exploding of wounds and epidemics much, much quicker. That being said, single target is kind of sleeper. It is literally just building wounds over and over and blowing them up with your Scourge Strike and not overcapping with Death Coil. It's not. I feel like there could be more of an interaction that goes on here. I haven't thought too much into it, but it is literally just like a build and spend gameplay. But it's also just like super slow, so it kind of just, yeah, puts me to sleep a little bit. I did play Ryder for the most part, and it doesn't have much impact on your gameplay. You do get extra death and decays out of them, but I'm not aware enough to even notice them. The most impact that you do get out of Ryder is the Death Charger, like I said, for Frost. And Sand Lane changed your gameplay up completely. Not really a fan of spamming Vampiric Strike no matter what when it procs inside your Dark Transformation. But it is definitely fun, the build that I was playing. Especially in a dungeon like Theatre of Pain, your lower target counts where you're cleaving your Death Coils. It's nice for Unholy to actually be doing some cleave for once. And also, getting those big Blood is Life procs is so RNG. It might be the most RNG thing in the game, but if you get lucky with Blood is Life procs, holy moly, you best believe you're topping those meters. So, Unholy DK. I actually prefer it to Frost DK, I think. Yeah. That's kind of wild. I'd never thought I'd be saying that. I'm going to put Unholy in the top of B. This is based on fun, gang. Unholy meme spec. What makes subs so fun? Really enjoy the dance windows. I mean, you can go back in the VOD and watch it if you want. Yeah, the dance windows are super engaging and fun. I like rupturing in between, even though it does feel weird. Yeah. Arms and Havoc B tier. Imagine saying these things with so much confidence and not reading the title. Never played Feral before. Wait, what's this? Where is that? What makes it fun? Skill ceiling super high. Bite procs are super fun. Spreading out. I feel like it does a good job of a balance between spinning plates and on-demand burst damage. This is Mythic Plus fun levels, Paolo. I should put it, but I don't want to ruin the video. I'll just deal with it for now, you know? Okay, then. So, now we have the Retribution Paladin. My lord, I don't normally care for Ret. Like, I think it's fine, it's flashy, it's, like, somewhat fun normally, but holy shit. This tier set is one of the best tier sets I've ever played with. It is crazy fun. Basically, it just feels like you can infinitely press your spenders because you're getting your Divine Purpose procs, which has nothing to do with the tier set. That's just free spenders. You get free Divine Storm spenders somehow during your rotation, and then your tier set procs, which basically just refunds every holy power that you spend. So your Divine Storm, and then you just get a mad dopamine rush seeing your holy power bar fill straight back up. Divine Storm again, Divine Storm again, Divine Storm again. Now, I know it might not sound like fun to be spamming one button over and over again, but just trust me, it is some of the most fun that I had on the PTR this cycle. Also now playing Divine Hammer from what I tested, and that's kind of like a mini breath window for the Frost DK, but this is for Ret. It definitely doesn't feel as impactful as Breath does, but it's a nice little talent to play with, nice bit of skill expression to be had with Ret, which I feel like it could definitely use. Also, it's got super short cooldowns, and what normally happens is when you have super short cooldowns, they no longer feel impactful, but somehow having your big cooldowns on a 30-second cooldown with your Wake of Ashes feels amazing. It feels super impactful, and when you're playing Templar as well, and you're getting those Hammer of Light procs as well, that has got to be one of the best feeling button presses in the game. Like, you literally feel like you're just slamming this hammer over your shoulder and just like decimating everything in front of you. It is it literally, yeah, it perfectly encapsulates like smashing down a big hammer. This spec really surprised me in going into 11.1, and I'm going to be putting it straight in the S tier. Boom, boom, boom. I love the skill you have while talking. Feels really involving and pretty pleasing to listen to, and always love. Holy shit, Tempin. That might be one of the best compliments I've ever received. Thank you so much for the kind words, my friend. Man, what a compliment. I love that. Thank you, thank you. Okay, I feel like where are we at? How long have we been live for? Okay, not too bad, right? I feel like I've been maybe yapping for too long. I'm not sure. Genuinely think that might be your worst take in nearly 3 years of streaming. Wait, what? You're a great streamer. Paid chatter. Brilliant. Ret being S tier. Have you even played it? Right, Windwalker Monk tier set. Has this one changed, or are we still good on this one? Just extra damage, right? Yeah, okay. Next up, we got the Windwalker Monk. Tier set, again, just super boring. I mean, I shouldn't even say... Okay. Next up, Windwalker Monk. Tier set, much like many others, super boring tier set. It's just extra damage. But with Windwalker, this has always been one of my favorite rotations in the game. It's a shame that the Monk class is so cringe in itself. Sorry, Monk mains, but it is. It's just the truth. But every button press on the Windwalker feels great. It's got a super nice feedback loop from your Fist of Fury Rising Sun Kick into your Whirling Dragon Punch, which then can guarantee you a proc of Dance of Chi Ji with the correct talents. That little gameplay loop right there, like, you can't really beat that. And also, your Dance of Chi Ji procs now no longer feel... They just feel like an addition instead of a requirement for big DPS, which I think is nice. It does feel bad that it's target capped for 5. I feel like maybe make that 8 and tone down the damage. But yeah, that gameplay loop is just crazy fun. They did also get a Plunderstorm ability, which I definitely overrated at first. It's pretty cool, but the more you charge it up, just the further you fly, and it's just like a big AoE nuke on demand. But it's not really that fun or rewarding to press. Fist of Fury doing your highest damage overall feels nice. Big fan of that. I feel like that's been a problem for Windwalker for a long time now. I've been playing Shadowpan, and although Shadowpan is just a boring hero talent in general, when you get those Flurry Strike procs, it does feel like that is some really great audio and visual feedback. It does like embody being a monk when that does proc. Big fan of it. And then when you're playing Conduit the Celestials, your Strike of the Windlord is giving you cooldown reduction, which speeds up the rotation, and again, one of those super impactful buttons when you press it. Windwalker, great fun. I'm going to go for the top of A for Windwalker. Real big fan of Windwalker. Just wish it wasn't target capped. Hello, Morkant. Hello, buddy. No problem, Jesus. Enjoy work, my friend. Almost the weekend. Will be. Okay, so this is the last melee spec right now, then. We've got the enhancement, Shami. So, I'll start off. Tier set is super impactful. It grants you free Doom wins, which in turn beefs up your Crash Lightning damage. I mean, it is just extra damage, basically, but getting free Doom wins and extra Crash Lightning damage is always going to feel good. But Enhance is super weird in how it plays right now, and I haven't really been enjoying it. Like, basically, if you get a Hot Hands proc, you're pretty much ignoring everything but your Hot Hands. You want to be spending just to maintain your Legacy of the Frostwitch buff, but apart from that, like, it's just all about Hot Hands and you're not spending, which I think feels super weird and odd. Not a fan of that priority system at all. Yeah, there's just so many other buttons that I feel like you want to press, especially when playing Totemic. Like, you want to be slamming Sunderings and such, but you just can't get them off because Hot Hands has so much prio. Speaking of Sundering, Sundering feels giga. And the fact that it spreads Lashing Flames is one of the best changes they could have made for this spec. But even just from a resetting point itself, like when you're getting these Sundering resets over and over, it doesn't even pump that much. But my God, like with the audio feedback that comes along from your Sundering, it just feels unreal to slam these back to back to back. Doom Winds now also feels like a main cooldown because of how much damage it does. But I do enjoy having that big damage profile on a 1 minute cooldown. That feels real good. And then the other big change was Primordial Storm. And I don't think that was a necessary addition at all. I think Enhance is already one of the most complicated specs in the game. I really don't feel like it needs that extra proc or condition with Primordial Wave turning into Primordial Storm. I don't know. That feels like a weird decision to me. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I really don't feel like that's necessary. And again, when your Hot Hands procs, like, I don't know, like you just don't even want to be pressing it anyway. It's weird. Enhance feels super weird right now. That being said, Totemic is super fun. You get guaranteed you get a guaranteed Hot Hands proc. There we go. And it turns Sundering into a mini cooldown as well. Your totem's on a super short cooldown, so you always have damage as well. So big fan of Totemic, sorry. And then for Stormbringer, it just fits Enhance perfectly with the audio and visual feedback when you press Tempest. And the damage from Tempest suits how impactful that button press feels. God, where the hell am I going to rank this spec then? This is hard for me because if they, I mean, I guess I have to rank it on how it feels right now, right? If they sorted out the priority system and like at least just allowed you to spend in between your Hot Hands. I mean, you can get the spenders in, but like you want to keep up your Crash Lightning, etc., then I would enjoy it more. Because the problem with the Elementalist build for me with Enhance was always the Lashing Flames. Like, that just completely put me off. It made it one step way too difficult. But that has now been fixed with the Sundering spreading the Lashing Flames. I feel like I'll put it at the top of B. It would be an A tier spec if the Hot Hands shenanigans were figured out. But I do still have a good time on it. I'm messing up all my words now. It's not ideal. The number of procs is crazy on enhanced. The damage is amazing, but it's basically impossible to get into a groove. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. It does feel impossible to get into a groove with enhance, I would say. Let's move over. I mean, okay, wait, okay, so let me close that, get rid of that. So that is all the melee ranked next to each other. So in my opinion, Ret is by far and away the most fun melee right now. Asa, I feel like I'm doing Asa players a disservice because it's just not a spec for me. So that's why it's down there. And survival, I just don't rate at the moment at all. But let's move on to the range specs. Again, we're just going to place them onto this same tier list to compare them all. And let's start with the Devastation Evoker. We're going to start with the Evoker specs. Now, I have to preface this. This is the only spec that or only class that I don't have at level 80, so I actually haven't played them on the PTR, but I have heard quite a bit about them, so let's kick it off with Dev. So, the tier set plays nicely into Cleave. It's basically just bigger empowered spells, and that feels especially nice with your Scale Commander hero talents. And I love Scale Commander hero talents, provided that the target count kind of matches with the damage profile of it, because cleaving your Disintegrates is some of the best looking gameplay in the game. Firing out 3 Disintegrates at the same time that also fire out these Eternity Surges, unreal. Doesn't feel so great in mass AoE because you're only hitting like 3 targets mainly, but I do love that interaction. Dev's still bursty as ever. Still simple as ever as well, which I think is why I struggle to get on board with Dev. And a big thing for me with Evoker in general is the range. Being tied to 25 yards, I don't know why that's still a thing. Maybe that could be an Org thing only to punish the Org mains out there. But not a fan of that on Dev. Perfect that Dev's tier is nice and empty for it to go in. I don't know where I'm going to rate it. This is a fun tier list, Scalia. I struggle to get on board with Dev because it's simple. Puts Ret in S tier. Yeah, but that's procs. Dev is just spam Pyre back to back to back. Where should we rank this, chat? I need help with Dev and Org. Actually, yeah, you're trying to get me to put Dev in D so that Org won't be alone down there. I do, that's a point. I do enjoy the mobility of Dev. Being able to cast on the move with your hovers for an extended period of time. That is fun. Is there anything else that I can think of off the top of my head? Causality is fun. I do really enjoy that talent, getting constant cooldown reduction. I always enjoy cooldown reduction. But so basically it hasn't changed and the tier list sucks. Huh? Fuck you, mate. Fuck you. But saying that, Dev is going to go at the bottom for me. And it's fine, because nobody plays Dev, so I'm not going to piss anybody off. GG. Yeah, that's true, Coffee. You do, yeah, Evoker does have great utility in general. True, Arc, true. Sorry, Sainsbury's. Okay then, so the Augmentation Evoker. Tier set is pretty fun, completely passive, but it's a lot of damage and cool visuals, and also tons of Essence Burst procs, which always feels great. Yeah, don't get me wrong, extra Essence Burst procs always does feel great. Getting those extra eruptions, you're never going to say no to that. Super fun and kind of ties the rotation together. But Org is just not my cup of tea. I don't really care for the support archetype, but for the players that do, I do know that they're fond of Org, and I feel like Blizzard have done a good job in terms of gameplay when it comes to locking down the Augmentation Evoker. Can't say the same for performance. That shit is busted. But yeah, I just don't really enjoy it. Like, it is a very simple gameplay. Even org mains will admit that. The complexity and skill expression of org comes from your utility usage, and that's how you can also define a good org versus a bad org. And I think that's where a lot of the org mains get their fun from. The other ones are just happy to sit in the background and get carried and do nothing to help the group and just spam eruption the whole key. Anyway. Yeah, I read all of my YouTube comments, Limes. I'm shit at replying to them. Where is he reading these? He's clearly not even looking at this. What? What's up, Jay? What's your problem? What's your main usually? First time viewer here. I like to switch it up. I mained Mage in Season 1. I mained Hunter pretty much throughout the whole of Dragonflight, but I did dabble with Shadow Priest at some point. I'm leaning Warlock for next tier. I don't just want to be stuck to one spec or class, you know? Oh my god, he said my name. Oh, what? Did you think this was pre-recorded or something? Wait, maybe I just knew that someone called Jay Kim was going to come into the stream and they would say, where is he reading these? And I would reply to that. You never know. Stay woke. It doesn't feel like it belongs since there's nothing like it. Yeah, I mean, that's also the other thing with this is I cannot believe that still they have not doubled down on another support spec or just removed it, or like they have made it less about supporting and more of its own damage, but it either worked, the support archetype either worked or it didn't work, right? So like, why are we still in this weird interim period where org is the only support spec, which is just basically always going to be played, right? I'm doing very, very well, Dan, apart from the fact that I can't speak today. But yeah, I'm doing good, dude. How you doing, my friend? So yeah, I mean, that's all I'll really say for org. Like I said, I haven't played any Evoker on the PTR. I've just watched it and also heard through the grapevine of how it's doing. I don't think that much has changed for either of them either. I'm not going to put it in D tier. I'm not going to do that. Limes, appreciate the follow. Can't wait to finish work. It's almost the weekend, brother. Hang in there. Hang in there. The funny thing is, if you didn't have your org hate bias, I genuinely think you'd rate org higher than dev Asa. I mean, what I'm going to do... I'm not letting my org hate bias affect this. I'm not. Like, I'll meme on it, but I don't enjoy it myself. What I will do is put it behind Asa, but in front of Dev. Yeah, like you say, the Eben Yes. So the Eben Might Uptime mini game is much more engaging and interactive than like what Dev has to offer, in my opinion. But I do think that Asa is a better design spec, and I do enjoy Asa more, even though I don't really enjoy Asa that much. I had to come here from YouTube because you only had to come here because you only read the Twitch chat. I did reply to you. Sorry. Oh yeah, you asked about the YouTube comments, but you meant YouTube chat. Yeah, no, I'm reading both. It's hard for me to yap about all of this at the same time as responding to all of you guys in chat. There's a lot of you, and I appreciate you all watching. I try my best. I feel like I do very well with interacting with chat, to be honest. But yeah, maybe you just didn't hear me reply. I don't know. But I thought you were talking about YouTube comments. So I was like, yeah, I don't really... I read all of my YouTube comments, but I don't reply to them. Oh, maybe that's why... Maybe that's what you thought I meant. I don't know. Love your streams and vids. Let's go, Spud. Thank you. Thank you for watching, my friend. You'd like to play the best spec for Mythic Plus next season. Curious to hear your thoughts on the best Druid spec for the next season. Ooh. I don't know where Resto's at right now. But I mean, to be honest, Spud, like, Boomy and Feral are both insane right now in their own ways. Like, you can't really go wrong with either. Now, you're all good, Limes. You're all good, my friend. No problemo. Okay. Shadow Priest. So, tier set is one of the more fun ones. Getting extra power infusion procs, like, people play this game to get power infusion, right? We're all DPS whores and we love a power infusion. So getting extra power infusions feels, it feels amazing because it feels like it's always proccing. And it doesn't even matter that I don't think it's that big of a DPS increase, but it doesn't even matter because it just feels good to get that extra haste and speed up your rotation constantly. So that's real nice. Real big fan of the tier set. You're also getting free juiced up void bolts from the tier set. So another good point on the tier set, because that is also low-key fun because your dots are getting extended passively through these void bolts. So that's a nice little quality of life touch. Shadow's still a super fun rotation. It's basically like a mini game of trying not to overcap on any of your procs or any of your charges of your Mind Blast, etc. Once Shadow Priest gets going and gets off the ground, I've always thoroughly enjoyed this spec, and I don't think I'm alone there. Shadow is a very, very fun spec. I really enjoy what they did with Mind Flay and Sanity procs as well. I know it's not a recent change going into 11.1, but getting the shorter duration channel of your Mind Flay and Sanity makes it feel that much more impactful when you do get a proc. Makes it feel more fun. Also frees up more time in the rotation to spend on your Mind Blasts or your Void Bolts or whatever it is. You are kind of locked into Archon in a way because you're kind of locked into playing Void Eruption because of how the tier set works. I would rather that Void Weaver was the better play. It's just more fun, more engaging, better visually as well. But regardless, I want to play Void Eruption, so yeah, I'll be having a good time on Archon anyway. Shadow Priest, big fan of how it's looking at the moment. I'm going to place Shadow Priest. Where am I going to place that? Yeah, that's another great point. I can't believe I didn't even mention that. The overall visuals for Shadow are some of the best in the game. That's definitely got to play into the fun aspect, especially when you get, I mean, I don't know how relevant this is right now, but when you get an infinite amount of shadows traveling towards the target with your spirits, yeah, there's just no feeling like that in the game. Where do I want to put this? More fun. Yeah, I'm going to go with the top of the A tier for the Shadow Priest. Still a super big fan of this spec. I kind of forgot how fun it was. I haven't played it since Dragonflight Season 4, where it's my main, and had an amazing time on it then. Had a poggers time on it then. I keep saying amazing. I keep saying unreal. I keep saying impactful. I keep saying the same fucking words. What's up, Zananas? Ret's tier set carries is so fun. You just infinitely press Divine Storm, which I know might not sound that fun to you guys, and normally wouldn't sound fun to me, but it's just, I don't know. There's something about it. It's so fun. Super duper. Priest has never really appealed to me. No Interrupt is too wild for me as a prop paladin main. Yeah, I don't blame you, Nixon. I do not blame you, my friend. Let's move over to my potential main for 11.1 then. As a class is the Warlock, but we'll start with the Destro Warlock. Now, the tier set, it does allow, or used to allow, I don't know if this is still relevant because of the changes that have just happened to Channel Demon Fire, but it allows for like a really dynamic rotation that means you can go pure single target and still do great cleave damage because of the Channel Demon Fire procs. And this opens up prio damage for Destro without trolling your overall damage because you're still getting that passive cleave from it, right? So I like the fact that it kind of allows you to change up your rotation or your decision making in that sense. And then just in general, really enjoying Destro at the moment. It's got kind of like the perfect amount of procs with your speedy Chaos Bolts. You're summoning multiple Infernals, though I do wish your Infernals was like spread around the targets. I mean, they do sometimes, but I don't really know what it depends on. But it would be nicer to more clearly see all of your Infernals around the target. That'd be sick. And then you're also summoning Overfiends with those speedy Chaos Bolts as well, which are doing more, even more prio damage for you. So Destro just kind of feels like the complete package. Yeah. So talking about Channel Demon Fire, the passive Channel Demon Fire did feel slightly weird to me. I think it might have changed now, and we might be back to pressing the actual Channel Demon Fire button, which I personally enjoy. It's an impactful button to press because you're doing big damage while you're pressing it, but then it's also extending all of your Immolate dots, which then means that you can apply your Immolate dots with your Cataclysm without losing any uptime on them, which is real nice. But if it doesn't change and you're still playing the passive one, then that just frees up more of your rotation. Why am I stuttering so much and fucking I don't know what the fuck's going on with me. But if you are playing the passive CDF, then that just allows it frees up the rest of your rotation to allow you to fit in more Incinerates or Conflags or whatever it is, more Chaos Bolts or more Rain of Fires. One of my favorite things about Destro right now, though, is Mayhem. This talent is so fun. I think it got a buff of its uptime or proc rate going into 11.1. And my God, this is probably my favorite thing about this spec right now. It feels like it procs constantly. And if you're on like a 2-target fight, think the second boss in Floodgate, you are just constantly dumping Chaos Bolts into 2 targets. It's mega, mega fun. Diabolist visuals, they will never get old. It fits super thematically with Destro as well because of, especially if you're playing with the green Felfire, everything is green Felfire about Diabolist. So that looks really fitting with the Destro lock itself. Having a good time with Destro right now. I don't think it's my favorite Warlock spec, but it's a good time nonetheless. The only thing, I'll say this for Destro, but this applies to all of the Warlock specs, is the mobility is something that I'm going to need to get used to. You feel very sluggish and slow as a Warlock in general, so you got to think a lot about positioning, and when you're not thinking about positioning, you can get caught out, and then you have like a lot of downtime in turn from that, right? Destro, I'm going to place in the A tier. It's going to go at the top of A tier, actually. I was going to put it behind Shadow, but I've been having a great time with Destro on the PTR. Survival's in the bin. I mean, you can go back in the VOD, Sai. I don't, because like if I repeat it for you, then I've got to repeat it for everyone that asks about their spec, right? But there's no high point in Survival's rotation. It feels muddled with its priority because everything comes off a cooldown at the same time, and you still want to be buffing with your kill commands to get tip of the spear. Coordinated Assault is the most boring cooldown in the game. That's the majority of what I said, I think. What are the additions in the new patch? I don't know. I'm not sure about professions, Rafa. Unfortunately. Shit, what did I just do? There we go. True Shot. No, True Shot feels impactful. MM doesn't feel great right now, but True Shot is an impactful cooldown. Yeah. It at least feels better than CA. Okay, so my least favorite of the Warlock specs, though I'm definitely somewhat enjoying this spec at the moment, is the Affliction Warlock. So with the tier set, you're proccing extra haste, always a welcome proc. Can never go wrong with some haste, and it's also super cool seeing multiple UAs spread out across the different mobs. It kind of takes me back to the old Legion days where you were able to actually spread out your unstable afflictions. Bring that back, Blizzard. Let us dump our single target spender into multiple unstable afflictions, and let us spam Seed of Corruption for big AoE damage. Please and thank you. That was when AF felt its best. But there is one glaring issue with the Affliction Warlock. Any guesses as to what it might be? Yes, you are correct. It is Vile Taint. This shit needs to be fixed ASAP. I don't know why they're just refusing to fix it. I think they're scared of it maybe feeling too much like Shadow Crash for Shadow Priest. We don't care. Just give us Shadow Crash and make it apply Agony instead, okay? Who cares? There's multiple ways to fix this. You could give Vile Taint 2 charges. You could lower the cooldown so that it lines up with your reapplication of your Agony. But it just feels horrible to reapply your Agony manually, especially when your Vile Taint is coming off cooldown in like 5 seconds, but you still have to do it because otherwise you're going to drop your high stacks of Agony. Or, I mean, the other way around it would be making Agony hit harder, so then it would feel better to reapply it manually. I don't know. There is plenty of ways to go about it, but they are just sticking their head in the sand and don't want to know. So that is definitely going to hurt AF's placement on this tier list. Is it Dark Glare? I missed it. I missed the trick there. And then more changes for the AF log. I feel like I can see why they changed Soul Rot, but I feel like they have missed a massive trick with Soul Rot. They should get it. They should make Soul Rot buff the damage of Drain Life massively and still have it AoE interact with Soul Rot. I think there is nothing more thematic possible in this game for Affliction Warlock than firing out a Soul Rot and then draining the life of multiple mobs at the same time for big damage. How sick would that be? Like, Gul'dan literally, does he do it in the movie? I don't know. But there's just nothing more fitting for a Warlock, or an Affliction Warlock specifically, for me, than an AoE drain life type ability. I think that would be unreal. And they pretty much had it as well. They had the AoE part of the drain life after the Soul Rot. It just did no damage, so nobody played or pressed drain life after, unless for utility purposes. A dark glaring issue. Yeah, you could also add CDR to Vile Taint through good gameplay or something like that. There's many a way to fix it. Speaking of Soul Rot still does feel great. It's a nice 1 minute cooldown. It's on a short cooldown, so you're constantly getting value out of it. You get the extra haste out of it, which speeds up your rotation. Always a welcome change to your rotation, much like the tier set. And they're like, this Soul Rot window, and this Soul Rot window feels even better because of the 3 procs of Rapture. Now, I think we're all in agreement that we'd rather not be spamming Rapture, and Rapture would get deleted. But it is rewarding seeing your damage jump up the meter every single time you press Rapture, right? I don't know if people can argue with that. I do enjoy that. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm not really contradicting what I just said, but seeing Rapture as like all of your damage on your damage breakdown is no fun. It's not what an Ashlock should be looking for or looking at. Hellcooler does make this slightly more bearable because Wither is up there with it, but yeah, just get rid of Malefic Rapture, please, and thank you. Affliction Warlock. I'm going to place it in the bottom of B tier. And a lot of that is honestly due to Vile Taint. I've been enjoying AF on PTR. Now to my favourites of the Warlock specs. Now, tier set's actually not that interesting. You do get Giga buffed dogs from it. I wish they kind of looked different. Like, that would be unreal. I feel like that's asking for too much from a tier set, though, but that would be sick. And extra Dread Bites on every Hand of Gul'dan. That does make your Hand of Gul'dan feel more impactful to press. So I guess we can give the tier set the benefit of the doubt there and say that it impacts it somewhat, I guess, okay? It's still one of my favorite rotations generally in the game. Once it gets going, though, I don't appreciate the start of keys on Demo when you first have to build up your imps and get ramping from that. It feels like it does take a while to get going, especially to get into your Tyrant, and that can also happen throughout the key as well with downtime. But once you're locked into the rotation, you've got these Charhounds rolling, you've got these dogs constantly jumping out, You got your Fel Guards, so you got your Imps just like making an army of Fel Firebolts around you. I don't know if there is a spec in the game that fits its class fantasy better than this spec. It feels unreal. What feels even more unreal is the change back with Doom. So your Doom duration on the mob is now being reduced by Hand of Gul'dan instead of your Demon Bolt. Great change, back to its old ways. I think apparently that was the case in Dragonflight anyway. But W change right there, which also allows you to spawn more Doom Guards. Again, adding even more to the fantasy. And then even more fantasy is being added when you're playing Diabolist and you're summoning all of these powerful commanders that are also changing up your rotation as well, giving you extra soul shards, giving you massive ruinations to cool down and obliterate everything in sight for massive damage. I'm just loving Demonology Warlock at the moment, and maybe it might be my main going into 11.1, but I'm actually not decided on that yet, okay? So hold your horses. Demo Warlock is going in the A tier, the top of A. Yeah, exactly, Sonny. I'm glad it's not just me, hey? I'm glad it's not just me. Yeah, that's the thing as well. It's like Diabolist perfectly fits the theme of Demonology. Let's move on to the favorite child of Blizzard then. We have the Mage. So, Frost, first up. We are getting we are getting Frostbolt volleys from our tier set. Kind of a unique mechanic or spell. We haven't seen anything like this before, so that's pretty cool. You do notice it firing out as well. So much so that they've nerfed the visual on other people's screen, I'm pretty sure. So that is actually a cool tier set. It's very passive, like it just does damage, but at least you get some nice visual feedback from it, right? There's not a whole lot that has changed for Frost. It's still very much its old self, except for the fact there is one big change with Fingers of Frost no longer munching your Winter's Chill, which is actually real nice because it means that you can spend more Ice Lances and also Glacial Spikes because they're not being munched by your Ice Lances when you've got Winter's Chill active on the target. Big dub. Kill, appreciate the Prime. Sorry, my friend, I've just seen that. Thank you very much, my friend. I don't have alerts on right now, so yeah, I missed that one. My bad. Yeah, I mean, I can't really believe that they didn't make that change sooner. That was one of my pet hates with playing Frost, is the fact that you wouldn't get any extra benefit out of having Winter's Chill on the target and getting Fingers of Frost procs, which you seem to always have. Crossfire also got changed for the worse. Or Crossfire did get changed for the worse, though. It's basically losing out on Comet Storm cooldown reduction and therefore also Meteors, which is what was the most fun part of Crossfire for me. When we made change to Frostfire in Season 1, I was having a blast, and it is because of the pad damage that you get from Comet Storm and Meteors constantly being fired out because you're getting so much cooldown reduction on them. Frost also received big buffs to Blizzard going into 11.1, which has since been nerfed back quite heavily, which is a good thing because at one point Frost was pressing Blizzard on single target, which is just odd and should have never happened. Felt like a crime. But at least it's now making Blizzard feel like more than just a utility button to get your Frozen Orb cooldown reduction, right? I like Blizzard. I enjoyed Blizzard being my top damage overall. It was a nice change up, but if they're not happy with that, then I'm fine with Blizzard just doing more damage overall, right? So, Frost Mage. I'm still enjoying this spec. It's got a lot of priority damage as well this season, which feels nice. It feels rewarding knowing that you're helping the team deleting those scary mobs. I'm going to place Frost Mage at the top of B tier, okay? Because I do still think that Arcane Mage is my second favorite mage spec right now. And that is because it's got a banger tier set. You get extra procs of Aether Attunement during your rotation, which basically makes your missiles cleave on 4 additional mobs. So you're hitting 5 mobs with your Aether or your Arcane Missiles, sorry. And that's on top of the talent that you've already got. So now you're getting even more Aether attunements. And that has opened up a really fun gamble build that I played on stream the other day, where you're playing with high voltage, which means your Arcane Missiles can generate you Arcane Charges. You're playing Aether Attunement, like I just mentioned. Intuition, which means you can spend more barrages, and also Orb Barrage. So you can literally spam barrages and refill your Arcane Charges constantly with missiles, orbs, or even Arcane Orbs again, but from your Orb Barrage procs. So it's very like a high roller build, high risk, high reward build, but it is fun on AoE when it does pay off. So I have definitely been enjoying that. And just getting more Aether attunements, like that is one of the best looking visuals in the game, in my opinion. So seeing more of that is always a big dub. That being said, they have made one major L change coming into the 11.1 with Arcane, and that is replacing Aether Vision with Intuition. So you basically replace a guaranteed buffed up Arcane Barrage after you double blast with a completely random low proc chance use of your Arcane Barrage, which feels like it barely happens. The duration of the Intuition buff is way too short because sometimes you want to squeeze in a missiles before to buff up your barrage. And if you've got an Aether Attunement proc there, you can't actually fully get off your full Aether Attunement, which you would want to, because you have to spend your barrage to make sure that you're getting refunded of your Arcane Charges. So really not a fan of that. I feel like that should have been an addition to the talent tree and not a replacement for Aether Vision. I was quite enjoying Aether Vision in Season 1 on Arcane. So I'm sad that that has gone. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Arcane. I do have one hot take with Arcane. I wouldn't mind an Arcane Explosion build for mass AoE. I don't know when the last time that was a thing. I kind of remember Crim's Arcane Explosioning in the other side in Shadowlands. But I think it would be pretty cool to have an Arcane Explosion build where you're just like repeating all these Arcane Explosions all over the gap and doing big uncapped AoE damage. Because that's where Arcane does feel bad in mass AoE. So, Arcane Mage, I'm going to place... Honestly, I've been really enjoying the Gamble build on Arcane. It's got big damage inside its cooldowns, still kind of hits like a wet noodle, but that Gamble build can kind of bridge that gap if you get lucky. And it's super, super visually satisfying as well. I'm going to place Arcane near the top of A tier. Mage is in a good spot in general, and you'll see that from Fire Mage, which is my favorite spec in the game right now. I mean, Ret is not far off, I won't lie. And Fire does have a pretty bland tier set. It just increases your damage. It makes your combust feel more impactful if you really want to go that far. But my God, I hope that Blizzard does not kill this spec into the ground. Like, just nerf the numbers, don't nerf how it plays. It's a very unique way of playing this spec, and I feel like they could just allow us to have a season on it. Even if it doesn't do... I'm not asking for the most damage, right? I'm probably not even going to main mage, but oh my God, the combust cooldown reduction with the Sun Fury build is insane. Basically, by the time you get out of your combust and the guaranteed hypothermia proc you get after, where you just spam Flame Strike back to back to back for big crits, which in turn reduces your cooldown on combustion even more, you basically have combustion up in about 20 seconds after you finish with all of that, even though it's a 2-minute cooldown baseline. And then, oh shit, where was I going with that? And then you have shifting power, which knocks 15 seconds off of it, so you basically get straight back into a combust. I've combusted 3 times in one singular pack, I think, and that was in a +12 key, so in higher keys, you're going to get multiple combusts in a lot of packs. It just feels great right now. It's some of the best gameplay in the game at the moment. What's making Ret fun for you? The tier set. Tier set is Giga Juice. Also, personally, I don't mind the Flame Strike build. I know a lot of people don't enjoy Flame Strike. I think now that it contributes to Hot Streak, it's actually a kind of fine build. In fact, no, I enjoy it. I just do enjoy Ignite Fire Mage more and dumping all that damage into a prio target and passively cleaving. And I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like the Ignite Fire Mage rotation feels even faster. Like, regardless, Fire Mage just has an insanely fast-paced rotation that has slowed down a tiny bit going into 11.1 because you're now scorching more. Like, you're even scorching inside your combustion. I guess this is because of the removal of a Phoenix Flame charge, and you're also fireballing outside of your combustion, or more so in single target as well. I don't mind fireballing and fishing for crits in single target. Feels kind of bad in AoE, but it feels like pyrotechnics should be a necessary talent in all situations now, because if you get unlucky and you're sending like 5+ fireballs back to back without a crit, you just want to log off. Like, it's no bueno. You're also pretty much permanently mobile on this spec, bar the fireballs, which you can be mobile with because of Shimmer. Everything else is pretty much instant cast. Scorch you can cast on the move, so you're never really planting your feet on this spec. Hyperthread wrist threats. Actually, now button that off. Finally, it's one of the most flashy specs in the game as well. You got your Sun Fury Phoenix, which is beautiful, for lack of a better word, and you're constantly calling down meteorites with great audio feedback as well, which literally embodies the Pyromaniac playstyle. So I cannot fault the Fire Mage in any way at this current state. It is definitely my favorite spec in the game. I'm sorry, but when it comes to setting the world on fire, fire over Deshro, yeah, I'd probably agree. Thankfully, I had Vesperall TV's graphics and UI YouTube guide to follow, which made it all so easy, and now my game runs smooth as butter. No problem, Morkan LOL. I'm glad I could help you out, my good buddy. Feels like I'm getting too old for fire. I mean, it's intense. It is intense. Let's jump over to the last of the Hunter specs then. First up, we've got the Beast Mastery Hunter. Now, you are getting a lot of cooldown reduction on Bestial Wrath from your tier set, which feels extra nice on top of the already mental cooldown reduction that you get on one of your main cooldowns, Bestial Wrath, right? So, just you're able to get... Don't know what that was. You're able to get back into your cooldowns a lot quicker. Obviously, then you also have your main cooldown in Call of the Wild, which is a big juicer cooldown on a 2-minute cooldown. I'm not fully sold on Call of the Wild. It's a super cool fantasy cooldown. It fits the theme of the spec perfectly, but I don't like the fact that it gives you perma beast cleave for the duration. I feel like BM's already simple enough. I kind of want to use my brain a little bit still. I don't know. I think I would rather not have the perma beast cleave if I was given the option. I also enjoyed the emphasis on Dire Beast these days for BM. It feels nice to be able to rock with Dire Beast in Mythic Plus, because you're getting extra cleave damage from it and also prio from it. So we do actually have another button to press in AoE, which BM definitely needed. Makes it slightly more complex. Just an extra button to fill that gap of spamming Kill Command and Barb Shot. And also, like I said for Survival, the pack leader changes are super cool. Like I said, I've said it already, pack leader, this is what it should have always been about, calling an army of beasts. And it's very visually satisfying as well, because you get the wyvern that kind of patrols around you, which is something that BM lacks, right? Like, you're this mega pet class, you're a beastmaster, but you don't really see your beasts all that much because they're in amongst the ruckus in melee. So having this wyvern patrolling around you, you're constantly seeing that. You actually do see the boars as well charge through. The amount of times I thought I ninja pulled something because I see the boar charge through. Yeah, the changes for pack leader are definitely a great step in the right direction. And then more changes for BM. You're now you now have a bigger reason to press Explosive Shot in AoE because it now procs a Giga Stomp from your pets. So it now no longer feels like one of these buttons that you kind of just ignore until you have nothing to press. Like you actually want to press this button and it gives you a reason to press it, which I'm very much enjoying. Dark Ranger fleshes out the rotation even more because you're now weaving in kill shots or black arrows constantly throughout your rotation. Again, I think it kind of just ties the rotation like perfectly together. Doesn't make it too complex, but it just gives that bit of depth that I feel the spec needs. And finally, pet specs can be changed again. Kind of like, I mean, it's not even really a casual thing, but the fact that you're able to change the spec of your pet is a solid change. So, BM Hunter, I'm going to put in the B tier. In the middle of B tier. Let's go with that. It's one of those where like it is fun to get on. It's a super chill spec to sit on and enjoy and play, especially while I'm streaming. But I now no longer have the wool pulled over my eyes. It does get somewhat, I don't want to say it's not boring. It's not boring, but it could be more engaging at some points, I think. Okay, Marksmanship Hunter. Now, I haven't played MM in a while, and I feel like I overrated it at the start because of all the new fancy changes. First up, tier set. Actually super fun. Lock and Load is already one of the most fun procs in the game, and it makes this proc feel even better because it is now tied to a juicy explosive shot that blows up and deals insane burst damage. Also, so yeah, MM had a complete rework coming into this patch, and a lot of it saw a lot of great changes. Those being calling the shots are now super easy to pick up. I always can appreciate big CDR on my big cooldowns, and I do actually also somewhat enjoy the gameplay being revolved around the streamline buff because you actually feel the difference. Like when you've got a double streamline buffed aim shot, it fires so much quicker and you can actually feel that variance in your gameplay, which is nice. Double tap is back as well. Very glad that Blizzard brought it back, but they didn't just bring it back. It also now procs more frequently because it's also tied to volley, and volley also gets cooldown reduction from the talent tree as well. So they're all kind of playing into each other here. Explosive shot is getting cooldown reduction as well, which is sick. It's just like the whole kind of talent tree is revolved around cooldown reduction, which is something that I'm always a big fan of. What I will say is I think precise shots should stack up twice by default. I don't think it should be tied to that talent in the bottom left that nobody cares about. Yeah, it feels bad that sometimes it feels bad that sometimes in your rotation you munch these precise shot procs because you want to like double aim shot or aim shot into a rapid fire, and that's giving you, they're both giving you precise shots or whatever it is, right? So yeah, I'd like precise shots to stack up to 2 times by default. Kill shot also needs to hit harder. It hits like a wet noodle right now, even when you buff it up with all of the different talents. That's a real feels bad man moment when you're pressing kill shot. Even when you get the procs of Deathblow, like it just feels like it does nothing. And finally, the biggest dub. I'd take that back actually. Spotting Eagle. Marksmanship no longer needs a pet for lust. But the reason I went back on what I just said is because you lose a defensive for it, which just doesn't feel worth it. I said this in the power tier list. I feel like I'd rather just do the finicky lusting or gimmicky lusting with dismissing the pet, but still have a defensive. Like, it's going to feel bad knowing that you would have lived in a previous season in a dungeon because you would have had Fortitude of the Bear, but now you've given it up just to be able to lust, especially if you've got a different lust in the group, right? Overall, though, I do like the changes for MM. I don't think it's quite there, but I feel like we're well on our way. I'm going to put MM in the B tier as well as BM Hunter. I'm going to put it quite high up, actually. I do enjoy it. Mainly because of the cooldown reduction and also the tier set. The tier set is so fun when that procs, man. What did I miss since BM Hunter is there now? It is a fun tier list, my friend. Range pets, that would be sick. Oh my god. I might just tattoo fun on my forehead. Fun tier list, guys. It's not based on power. Okay? You rabbit brain. You rabbit brain. The only thing added to MM was having pets back. What? You crazy? You're having a meltdown. I will be soon as well. I feel like, I don't know why, this tier list feels so long. I feel like it's a normal time though, but I don't know. I feel like I've been yapping for fucking years at this point. BM Hunter or Rep Paladin Foru. The tier list itself is only incidentally fun. Why is Havoc so low? Because this is a subjective tier list, my friend, and I'm going to assume that you thought it was a power tier list and you didn't read the title. You spelled matcha wrong, bro, but nice try, buddy. Nice try. Second to last spec, then, we have the Boom Chicken. Now, tier set wise, it's cool and it is something different to get passive mushrooms. You're keeping up your Waning Twilight buff a lot easier because of the mushroom proc with your Sunfire and Moonfire. And also just means more resource generation in general, which means you can dump into Starfalls or Star Surges. And although I do like the tier sets for Boomy, I don't really like the spec. And that hurts me to say because I've always been a Boomy main, but it just feels bland. The only redeeming quality of Boomy is the fact that it has 2 charges of Incarn, so you can make... It's fun to have that decision-making part of the gameplay where you can choose whether you want to send 2 Incarns in one pack or save 1 for each pack. But I mean, it doesn't make up for the loss of Arcanic Pulsar, where you'd get frequent procs of your Incarn every so often. But I don't even think it needs to necessarily be Pulsar brought back. I just think that Boomy needs some sort of procs to spice up the rotation, because everything else is pretty much 100% predictable. And yeah, I'm not feeling Boomy right now. I also think that Star Surge should interact with the rotation somehow. I don't know how you would do this off the top of my head. Like, you could integrate it into making Wrath or Starfire have reduced cast time, or maybe you could even have it extend your current Eclipse. I don't know how that worked. That probably wouldn't work that well in an actual gameplay scenario. But just ideas like this, right? Like, Star Surge doesn't feel like it does anything except big single target damage. I feel like it used to have interactions, but not anymore. Hero talents are also kind of boring. Don't enjoy Keeper of the Grove at all. I don't care for the tree, and it's like, yeah, that's maybe the only way they could have linked the 2 specs. But Dream Burst is such a non-proc. I literally don't care how much damage it does. I definitely prefer Elun's Chosen. Oh, actually, the one thing that I do like about Keeper of the Grove is the applications of Moonfires. Your Treants are applying your Moonfires for you. They benefit from Twin Moonfires as well, or Twin Moons. So you can dot up some of the pack, or even just leave the pack completely undotted from Moonfire and have them do it for you. Means you can get into your burst or ramp quicker. Elun's Chosen is definitely my favorite of the 2. Though... And that's because of the Fury of Elune CDR, and I mean, Fury of Elune is just a cool spell. So I appreciate having that tied into like a core part of your rotation. And you can choose to switch up into Moons instead. I guess it just depends on damage. The only thing that I don't like about Elun's Chosen is the removal of your Eclipse decisions doesn't feel great. Like you just constantly, you can only go into Lunar Eclipse, so it removes like a core aspect of the balance druid, where you're balancing between the two eclipses. You see me? So, not thoroughly enjoying Balance Druid at this current time. Balance Druid, for me, is going to go in the C tier. There we go. And last but not least, we have the Elemental Shaman. Now, the first time I jumped onto this on the PTR, I was not too big of a fan. But I've since played it recently. I still haven't played heaps of Elemental Shaman, but I definitely enjoyed it much more the second time round. The 2 set's pretty cool. Summoning a free Storm Ellie. This, in turn, speeds up your rotation. It's always nice to be casting faster Chain Lightnings or Lightning Bolts. But, I mean, just generally anyway, just having the Storm Ellie constantly by your side is pretty sick and feels very thematic. 4 set's boring, though. It's just extra damage. One thing that holds me back with Elemental is Echoes of Great Sundering, of the Great Sundering. I hate this talent with my whole heart. Pressing Elemental Blast, a single target ability with a long ass cast time in a pack of 20 mobs when you just want to be earthquaking is possibly the worst feeling decision that I have to make in the game. I don't like it. If it was turbo bad, I really don't enjoy it. I don't think I'm alone there. I'd rather be spamming Earthquakes with Aftershock, getting Aftershock procs, which refunds my Maelstrom, just spamming even more Earthquakes down, zapping the world with Lightning. That feels good. That's the shit that I love. But unfortunately, from the builds that I've played on PTR, it seems to be the case that you're playing Echoes. Having Ascendance and Deeply Rooted Elements, which is the Ascendance proc, feels great. Having both of them at the same time was a great change. I think it was, yeah, a big dub to be able to have both of them instead of choosing between a completely random proc or just having one extra big cooldown. Though, I'm going to contradict myself. I don't like the fact that Elemental has 2 big cooldowns. And also the fact that they don't line up with each other. That feels horrible. I think each spec should have 1 big cooldown, right? Something like a Beast Mastery does it well with having 2 cooldowns because of the CDR that you get on Bestial Wrath. But yeah, just not really that into having 2 big cooldowns because it also just plays into the button bloat problem that Elemental and Enhance have. I feel like they have way too many buttons. It's trying to do too much, like especially when you're talented into builds with like Liquid Magma Totem. There's an extra keybind there. You got Nature's Swiftness that you need to be pressing in your DPS rotation as well. There's just a lot of buttons that you need to keep on top of, which I don't personally like, and it does put me off because you also have all of the utility keybinds that you need to have as a shaman as well. The only other thing I will say is it's very spammy with Chain Lightning. I don't know if that's the end of the world because Chain Lightning is one of the best visual spells in the game, but because of the reduction in Maelstrom generation from it, it can feel somewhat tedious sometimes to just be spamming that over and over, trying to get enough Maelstrom to dump with, hopefully, an Earthquake. So, Elemental Shaman. It definitely gets extra points as well for its visual and audio feedback. Some of the best in the game. Up there with your Enhance, up there with your Destro and your Fire Mages. I'm going to put Elemental in the B tier in front of the Beast Mastery Hunter. So, that is all the specs in the game, or all of the DPS specs in the game, ranked against each other in terms of fun. We got Fire Mage and Ret at the top, clear of everybody. We've got Boomy, Survival, Asa, Orc, and Dev in the bottom tier. Not enjoying those specs right now, but with some small changes, I'm sure they could become a lot more fun. Oh my god. I thought you were just being a drama queen, but then the first 3 comments that I read were about my placement of specs. It's a Delve tier list, imagine. God, I feel fucked after that. I'm so dead. Yeah, that's a good point as well, Safari. The change to Primordial Wave takes the fun down a notch for Ellie. Hard agree with that. I enjoy Ellie, but honestly, the amount of multicast procs they get now feels kind of weird. What do you mean, Cypher? What procs are you talking about? I don't know. I was kind of like I said at the start of the stream, I was low energy today anyway. I've already recorded 2 videos today as well. So it might have been that. Right, let me think. Let me cook right now. You did ramp. I mean, to be fair, I felt pretty good for like the first hour and a half of that tier list, but yapping for that long definitely takes its toll. Oh, fair enough, Cypher. I see ya. When my mate is an assassination rogue, you've been considering enhanced balance or windwalker. Yeah, Acid does lack in single target. It brings prio though. I mean, they're all good choices. Maybe enhance would be your best bet. Yeah, enhance would probably be your best bet. Enhance brings everything. It's the best out of those specs that you listed. Twitch viewer Prime. Very, very true, my friend. Yeah, I enjoy Windwalker a lot. I do indeed. Did I miss any other comments, or was it just people saying why is their spec in the wrong tier, even though it's based on fun? Havoc with low I-beam CD and autocast glaives. Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. But that's the thing. B is a good ranking. It's like, it's very middle of the road, but I do enjoy all of these specs in the B tier. C tier, not so much. But I still don't hate these specs. Well, still don't hate these specs. You never read the title. Yeah, it doesn't seem like anyone did, to be honest. Oh, this is a fun tier list, my friend, so it's not really going to change. I might do an updated power tier list, but there's nothing. We haven't really had any tuning, so yeah. Yeah, Aldrachi is not it. I don't really enjoy Aldrachi, to be honest. Thank you for all the follows, by the way, during that, gang. Appreciate you all. I will say I feel like you're one of the few. So Enhance is just in a weird spot with its priorities. You're like ignoring spenders and shit like that to capitalize on hot hands. I don't know. It feels odd to me. Normally I do rate Enhance like near the top. Yeah, I might be going Warlock Shed, but I'm enjoying Fire the most right now. I feel like BM with Pack Leader is much more fun than MM. Yeah, they are kind of far apart, aren't they? But like, Enhance should be in like A tier at least. It's just chalked right now. Yeah, I don't know. No, I did do an outro. I also kept messing up on my words. Like, I mean, it's no biggie. I'm not like being hard on myself, but I was stuttering a lot today. Yeah, Malchi, you've got like a 20-second cooldown on combust. It's insane. It's so fun. I might, I don't know, like I could get some Asa Rogue gameplay, but like I could just not as well. How do you feel after skipping leg day? If I trained legs today, I would be in a coma right now. I am so dead. That is hilarious, Jolene. Yeah, I'm glad that I didn't train next day. I don't know why I'm so tired. I didn't get like a great night's sleep last night, but I did sleep. I did train pretty hard yesterday, so maybe that's why. Carl, this will be going up on YouTube, my friend. I hate skipping leg day. Yeah, I don't really skip leg day that much anymore. I definitely was guilty of it for most of my lifting career. Oh, God. Oh, this music as well. What six? What's up, Goggles? Seb, what is your managerial opinion right now? Are you going to enable me? Goggles, that was a fun tier list. That was a fun tier list for mainly Mythic Plus, but just kind of how fun they are in general. Yeah, I'm doing well, my friend. I'm doing very well. I'm just super tired. I did just do a fucking lot of yapping, though. I have expired my word count about tenfold today, I think. Early dart and have a pint, innit? It's Poets' Day after all. Piss off early, tomorrow's Saturday. There we go. Okay, gang. Right. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that is just taking it out of me. So we'll call it there for today. Appreciate you all watching. Thank you for all the follows today. We got a shit ton of followers. And see you in the next live, people that only came for the tier list. But yeah, W stream, big W stream. I might even just go and edit that and chill for a bit now while I'm editing it. I feel like that'd probably be a smart play for me to do. But I'm bloody hungry as well. Oh, wait. Tails is about to do a tier list maybe as well. So that's good timing. Thank you for all the subs, Candy. Thank you for the big gifted. Holy moly. And appreciate all the subs as well today, people. If you're not in the Discord, there is the Discord. No YouTube video tonight, but there will be a YouTube video tomorrow. I really need to figure out when I'm going to make this playthrough video and what I'm going to put in it, because I've done no prep for it, but I've just been swamped with like recording. It's not like I'm doing nothing. Like I'm recording dungeon guides left, right, and center, editing those, making notes for tier lists on stream, making other videos, editing videos. So yeah, having matches. So yeah, go say what's up to Tetzels. Have a lovely weekend, people. Remember, I don't stream on the weekends anymore, so it's just me throughout the week. So yeah, have a lovely weekend, people. Let me know what you're up to in the Discord. And yeah, peace out. Go say what's up to Tails.